Good morning, everybody. We're just going to give everyone a couple minutes to log in, but welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
Roberta, I haven't seen you in years. So, quick tip, don't breathe coffee. We're going to wait just one more minute to let other people come in. Otherwise, the stragglers will join as we go. Hi, Roberta. Bowd, Supreet, Isabella, Carolyn, Abel, Catherine, Kelly, welcome. All right, we are at 10:02 a.m. and in the interest of ensuring that everybody's time is well spent, we're going to get started and let anybody else join as we go. So, John, over to you.
Yeah, welcome, everyone. My name is John Ioannis. I'm the Director of Sales here at Spot Solutions. Excited to do another one of our webinars here at Spot. This was a really exciting one. I think that's kind of been bubbling up for quite some time regarding AI and specific Microsoft Copilot. So as you can see there, what is it and what is it not is kind of what we're going to focus on. It has become quite a bit of a buzzword when it comes to the environment that we are in at Spot Solutions. We're hoping today we can kind of share some knowledge and kind of provide some clarity. So I will pass this over to Tamara to continue on.
So we'll take just a quick minute to introduce the Spot team. My name is Tamara Hegan. I'm a project manager and business analyst here at Spot Solutions, and I'm one of the hosts today for the presentation. You've just met John Ioannis, our Director of Sales, who works with us to help deliver powerful webinars and reach out to our clients on topics of interest. We have also with us Jessica Lagos, a SharePoint and Power Platform developer, who's going to be sharing her insights, as well as Zach Mosel, also a SharePoint and Power Platform developer, who's going to talk a little bit about three big points about what Copilot is and isn't, and Natsi Amaro, our project manager and business analyst, who's going to be providing a bit of a demo of some solutions built with AI Builder. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Zach to introduce you to Microsoft Copilot and working with AI integrations. The only thing I'm going to say before we hand this over is think about Copilot as the sidecar to the applications that you're working with. Zach's going to dig a little bit deeper into that analogy for you, but if you keep that in your mind, it's going to help you to frame what Copilot really is and how it can really help enhance the work that you do. Take it away, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Tamara. So let's get into, in a broad sense, what Copilot is. As was said, Copilot is an AI integration. Using advanced language models, Copilot hooks into and enhances a multitude of Microsoft applications and services. Some examples being, in Word, Copilot can help you write, edit, and format your documents, can generate text based on your prompts, suggest improvements, and even help with grammar and style, making your writing process more efficient. In Excel, Copilot can assist with analyzing data by generating formulas, creating charts, and providing insights. It can help you understand trends and patterns in your data, making it easier to draw meaningful conclusions. In PowerPoint, Copilot can help you design and build presentations. It can suggest layouts, generate content, and even create speaker notes, helping you deliver more impactful presentations. Beyond these three, Copilot is integrated into many more M365 apps and services. Really quickly, in Outlook, it can help you manage your emails, meetings, and draft some responses. In Teams, it can facilitate meetings, summarize your chats, manage your tasks. In OneNote, it can organize your notes, generate summaries, search through your content. In Power Automate, it can help you build flows without touching a single formula. As well as Copilot is also integrated into the whole Dynamics 365 suite. So really, it's everywhere. Now that we know where to find it, let's talk more about what it is. Copilot is able to understand user intent, so it works differently than your regular search engine that just matches search terms. What does this mean? It uses natural language processing to interpret the nuances of human language, idioms, tone, implied meanings, for example, meaning that Copilot can get a deeper understanding of your prompt than just the surface level words that you feed it. Copilot, as a chatbot, of course, features interactive dialogue. This offers an iterative workflow, allowing you to refine the result by tweaking the prompt and correcting the response as many times as needed. Beyond providing information, Copilot can perform tasks like drafting emails, creating documents, and analyzing data. So it doesn't just give you a text result, but it can actually perform these actions. Another way Copilot differs from your trusty search engine is that it learns and adapts to each individual user over time to provide the best assistance. Copilot can tailor responses based on user preferences and past interactions, making the experience more personalized and more effective over time. When you provide feedback on Copilot's suggestions and corrections, you help it improve and better align with your needs over time. For example, if you frequently ask about project management, Copilot will learn to prioritize related tools and tips and offer those first. User feedback is crucial to fine-tune your experience. Copilot will also adjust its assistance based on the tasks you perform most often. If you regularly use Excel for data analysis, it will become more proficient in offering relevant functions and shortcuts. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about what Copilot is not. First, foremost, most importantly, it's not perfect. Copilot has seemingly great general knowledge in many areas, but is not likely to have deep expertise in highly specialized or niche fields. It might provide general information, but could lack the depth required for very specific tasks. While Copilot can retain context within a session, it can struggle with long-term context across multiple sessions, leading to potential misunderstandings or repetitive questions and answers. You can't always count on it remembering that little detail you mentioned at the very beginning of your chat. Moreover, the quality of Copilot's responses heavily depends on the clarity and detail of user input. Ambiguous or vague queries can lead to less accurate or less relevant responses. So there's a bit of a learning curve as far as actually giving prompts to Copilot, as easy as it may seem. What else is Copilot not? It's not Google. It doesn't always have the latest information in its dataset. For example, Copilot's base knowledge, which is updated periodically, received its last major update in October 2023, about a year ago. Now, Copilot can use web search to mitigate this issue, but it's best to keep in mind that at any time, the data fueling Copilot may be missing current events, and really there's better channels to get your news. It's also important to remember Copilot does not always show its sources when using web search. Now I'll pass the presentation over to Jessica.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica. Tamara, don't play the video yet. I'm just gonna, because it's, yes, thank you, Tamara. I'm just gonna talk a little bit and then I will let you know when you play the video. Otherwise, it will be a little bit short. So what I'm gonna show today is how you can use Copilot and some of the tools that I use the most. Like as a developer, I use a lot Power Up and Power Automate. So in my videos and short videos that I'm gonna show how you can use Copilot for that. In Power Up, you can always use or create an app or flow from scratch. What we're gonna do today or show today is how we can use Copilot to create an app or modifying formulas or even create a flow. So now you can play the video, Tamara. So once you navigate to make.powerapp.com, so you can see here in the main page, there is an option that says, let's build an app. What should I do? So this is basically Copilot. This is where you can actually use everyday words to describe what we want the app to do. And then the app will build us for us. And that will give us the first starting point. So you can just start typing here to use use any words to what do you want to do in your app, or use the suggestion. In this case, the video is using the suggestion like the manage inspection app. So basically what it's gonna do is gonna create a table, a single table for you with a couple columns. Like in this case, you can see inspection ID, inspection name, date, and a couple, in this case, 5 sample data that you can use. But you can also, you can see on the right side, you have Copilot. So you can also start changing your structure. Like in this case, is adding 5 more rows. So you just start typing, add 5 more rows, and Copilot runs it, and it will create 5 more sample data for you. So if you want more, you can just start more, or can you remove a couple ones? You can also start typing to Copilot and what you want to do. What you can also do, for example, is keep making changes to your table, like add a new column. In this case, is typing add a new column called inspection score. And you can also give us the type of column you want to set. Like in this case, it's a whole number. And you run the Copilot, and Copilot will create that column, and also with sample data as well. As you can see here, I have sample data. So on the left side, you also have suggestions, like basically depending on what the kind of the app you are building. So you can use those ones. Once you finish making your changes, you just click start, and it will create the app for you. It doesn't mean that you cannot make changes in the future. So that basically is gonna create one single screen where you're gonna have your first screen with the information that you already set in the table, and you can create other screens, other navigate, other formulas, but you can basically start using the app. In this case, Copilot basically is helping you to create the structure for you, so you don't have to go like Dataverse or SharePoint and say, I need to create a table here in all the columns, column types. So basically, by using Copilot, you can just describe the kind of app you want, like I want an app that blah, 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 and then click OK. And Copilot will try to understand what kind of columns you're going to need, what kind of data you're going to need. But you can, as you were able to see in the video, you can always change it, like remove columns, add more data, add more columns. And once you are satisfied with the changes, you can just go and click OK, and you can click making your other changes if you want. So then the next sample, Tamara, yeah, is how you can use Copilot to interact with your data in Power Apps. So you can play it. In this case, you can use Copilot by, for example, you have your own app, you can create a new screen. It can be a blank screen. And then once you have your screen, you can just search for the Copilot component here, and you're going to find it. And of course, this is premium, but we're not going to talk about what is premium or not in this video. But once you connect this Copilot with the data source you already have connected your app, you can use this screen to navigate and ask questions about the data you already have. Like you can use any suggestion here, or you can just start typing any question related to the data. Like in this case, what is the average price of the vault? And it will go and look at the data, and it will give you the answer. So you can also use Copilot here for asking questions related to your data, and you can have it on a different screen so you can navigate, and it will basically act like a chat. Okay, so this is another way you can use Copilot in your Power App. Let's go with the next. The next one basically is once you have your app, you can add formulas or fix your formulas by using Copilot. So you can play it tomorrow. So like a normal user will just go and type like, okay, I want concatenate this word, and it will use the quantity is the value of the quantity. But what if I want to use Copilot in my formulas, like start changing things? So you can see here there is a button, like an option that is called ideas, that it use AI a little bit. So basically we can say, let's use the conditional format. What I want is basically you start typing. If the quantity is below 30, show the text in red. So that basically what it's going to do, it will give you the formula. You can apply the formula, and now the formula is already there, so we can check. We go to the color property, and basically the formula, it's applied for you. It will show in red when the quantity is less than 30. So not just that, you can just like if you already know how to do it, you can also do it by yourself, but some users don't know how to do like conditional formatting formula, or you can Google it, but why not use Copilot for it? You can just say, okay, can you make this icon visible or not visible if the quantity is less than 30, or make it in red like here. So basically you start typing to Copilot what you want to change in your app, and the app is just gonna do it. To be honest, I just gonna be honest here because I use Power Up a lot, and I only use Copilot for simple things. Right now, I'm trying to not using complex formula where you have like a long line of formula. Sometimes Copilot may like it will get confused. So it basically will not fix whatever like your formula, but in some simple formulas, it will do the work. So why not to use it? Like if you can simplify your life. But as I say, in complicate like there is a lot of formulas where I use Copilot sometimes, and it's like you have to be even by being super specific is not able to understand what I'm just saying. So I prefer just to make the change myself. But if you're starting, if you're a new user, and if you want to use Copilot for simple things like changing the color, even formulas fixes, it can do it, but it will depend on the formula, to be honest. And but I would not use it in more advanced things for now. The next one, thank you, Tamara. The next one is the same. So you can see the same option here. You can play it. Um, it's the same Copilot, but in Power Automate. So it will look a little bit similar here, where you can just start typing what you want. For example, I want an approval from SharePoint, or I want start an approval when I got a form being submitted. So you can start with suggestion depending if you find the right thing you are looking for in the suggestion. You can just find it and click it, or if there is not here like any suggestion near to what you want to do, you can just start typing. And basically Copilot, what it's going to do is trying to understand what you want to build, and it will give you a couple suggestions. Once you are like okay with the one that Copilot is going to give you, you can just click start, and it will create the workflow for you. In this case, if a new maintenance request is filled out, send an approval to the requester manager. So basically, it's a using form, because you say a form fill out, it will understand this is MS form, and it will create an approval process and send an email to the manager. So basically, once you run it, and it will give you there's no full screen here, but it will give you a couple solutions, a couple suggestions. So once you pick the one that basically it cannot be perfect, sometimes you can just keep removing things if you don't want things, or keep adding things. So it's not like whatever Copilot creates, you cannot modify it. It's not like that. So once you are satisfied with the option that Copilot gives you. In this case, the trigger is the MS form. And then after getting the responses, it will start and wait for an approval. And then if it's approved or reject, it will send an email to the manager. So yeah, this is basically what I want. I will click OK. And once you click OK, it will create the workflow for you. So this is ways where you can use Copilot, and this is basically examples that how you can use it in Power App and Power Automate. But as my coworker Zach mentioned before, you can use it with Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft tools. I pass it to the next person.
Okay, thanks for that. Yes, I really appreciate it. That was great. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a transition here as we move, as you can see, to AI Builder. I did want to talk about kind of what we've gone through a little bit. So we did talk about Copilot and some of the where it fits in and what it's not and what it is. Right now, as we transition into AI Builder, we're going to take a look at pieces of AI Builder, but the word, as I mentioned earlier, Copilot is a bit of a buzzword. It is actually quite loosely used across the software industry, especially Microsoft. As for this demo coming up, it actually is uses Copilot more as a customizable piece, and we'll do more webinars to kind of maybe flush that out a bit more. But really, what I wanted to talk about was with Microsoft and the way they have branded things, we're actually now going to shift into AI Builder, which technically is not a Copilot product, but it actually does generate a customizable Copilot piece of it. So this may be a bit confusing. If you have more questions about this, please reach out to me offline. I'm happy to discuss that. But I will now pass over to Nancy, and we'll go into AI Builder.
Thank you, John. Let me take over the screen. So let me share. Okay, if you can confirm, if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start with this part of the webinar, which is about the AI Builder. First, I'll do just a quick introduction about what AI Builder is. AI Builder is just a Power Platform feature. So Power Platform is a platform that Jessica just demonstrated to create flows and Power Apps. And this feature is useful so that it basically uses AI to create different models that can optimize your business processes. The good news is that it is low code, so it does not require a lot of programming or any programming at all. So this is a tool for citizen developers like you and me. You do not need to be a data scientist or have any coding experience in order to start using some of these models. Some of the models are pre-built, or you have some that are custom made. So the pre-built models are already trained using default data, and they help in different business scenarios. So these are already made for you. You don't have to train them. However, the custom AI models, some of those you do have to train with your organizational data. However, it does not require a lot of effort. So to give you just an example, if you want to use the invoice model, all you have to do is provide 5 samples, at least 5 samples of your invoice template so that you can train the model and start using that for future invoices. So very simple to start using. And once you have trained the model, then you can start using that in a flow or a Power App. So that's the two different options that Jessica just demonstrated and where Copilot comes into play. Alrighty, so once you have used that in a Power App or a workflow, then you can get better insights from your information and start automating some of your business processes. Okay, so this is a landscape of the AI Builder models available. So this will give you a good overview of the different categories that we have. So there's models in the document processing category, text processing, structured data, prompts, and image processing. Now you can see from the coding here that in blue, you're going to find the models that are pre-built. And in pink are the ones that are custom models. However, there are some that are hybrid. They have some pre-built capabilities, but also give you the option to customize it if necessary. So let's look at some of these. We're going to be demonstrating some of these models today, but we're not going to have time to demonstrate them all. So this gives you a good overview of what's available. In terms of document processing, the first one is invoice processing. This model allows you to extract information from invoices, and it has different applicability. So you can use that to report on your invoices, possibly detect any issues with your invoicing process or any duplicates in your invoices. So very helpful model, and it's very easy to use. There's one on receipt processing, which extracts information from receipts. We all know and are familiar with an expense report process in which we have to take a picture of a receipt in order to report it as part of an expense report. So this model can automate that part, and it can save a lot of time. Then we have the text recognition, which basically extracts all the text in PDFs and images. There's also the identity document reader, which extracts information from identity documents like birth certificates, passports, IDs, and that kind of thing. There's the business card reader as well. And the last one is document processing, which extracts information from structured and unstructured documents. So an example of an unstructured document will be an invoice or some kind of a report that you use regularly, for instance, for auditing. Those are normally the template is the same. So that's an example of a structured document. An unstructured process will be an example of a bidding or an RFP document in which we know the RFP structure will always be different from organization to organization. So those are some of the examples that are available in the document processing category. Then we have the text processing category. We have the first one, which is sentiment analysis, which identifies positive, negative, or neutral sentiment in text data. Another one is language detection, which identifies the language in a given text. And there's even one on text translation. In case you have any needs to translate content in different languages, then this model supports more than 90 languages. Then there's the prediction model, which allows you to predict different outcomes based on historical data. For instance, when do you need to restock inventory? Or when do you need to provide maintenance to equipment based on past failures of the equipment or maintenance schedule? So this model allows you to do prediction, and it supports decision making. Then we have the prompts category, in which you can basically give any instruction to the GPT or ask it to behave in a specific way, and it will provide those capabilities for you. So an example is summarizing text. So you can summarize a meeting minute or a lengthy report, for instance, and get a quick summary instead of reading or going through a large volume of content. Then we have the draft reply, which you can draft a reply for incoming text. I actually use this one for my own email. So every time I get an email, my model creates a response to that email, optimizing the time that I spend in crafting a response to my email. So that was fun to do, and also very productive. Classifying text, so using GPT to assign a predefined category to given text. You can also extract text or create your custom prompt. So I created a custom prompt, which I will demonstrate to you, which assists with the HR hiring process. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. And then the last one is the image processing, which basically extracts content from images. Or we have the object detection, which identifies objects in images. So this will be helpful, for instance, for inventory. If you have to inventory a lot of information that's stored in images, then this model can help you achieve that. So this is the landscape of the different AI models. And next, I will show you a few. So I'll demonstrate 5 of those. I'll demonstrate the prompts, which is basically creating custom prompts. The second one will be on document processing. And for this one, I have an example for invoice processing. Then I'll demonstrate the image processing, which is extracting text from images. And text processing, which is the sentiment analysis. And the last one, which is a structured data processing, and in which I have an example of a field hazard report. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Any questions so far? Any questions or comments so far? Okay, so let's move right into the first one. So this first one is a custom prompt. And what I have done here is I created a custom prompt asking the model that based on specific job requirements and a resume, I'm asking it to assess the candidates and how closely the candidate matches the job description. So in terms of the recommendation, I ask the model to give me a nice summary of the candidate and the qualifications that match and the qualifications that do not match, as well as providing a final recommendation as to hire or no hire for that particular candidate. So here in the job requirements, I have an example of a real job from PHSA. So this role is for an IT project manager. I have a bit of a description here. Then at the bottom, I have the list of requirements or qualifications. So 5 years of experience minimum and some important qualifications. So being a team player, customer focused, demonstrating ability to maintain effective relationships. So you can see all of the different skills and qualifications, and then specific items in terms of skills and knowledge and areas in which this organization requires assistance for. Then in the resume, I will go ahead and bring over my own resume. So let me just do a copy of that and just paste it in here. Okay, and then click on Get Recommendation. So let's look into that assessment. Okay, so it's giving me a ranking of a 3. It's providing a nice summary of the qualifications that match the job requirements. So you can see it's providing a nice summary, extensive experience as a PM MBA, strong leadership skills, and qualifications that do not match. So it indicates lack of experience in healthcare technology solutions. So this is one specific requirement that PHSA noted in the job description. And in my resume, I am not listing that kind of experience. So the model is able to pick up on that omission there. No mention of managing incident resolution or service requests related to healthcare technologies. So this is great. It's basically optimizing the job of the HR manager for assessing all of the candidates. And then at the bottom, it's doing a recommendation. So in this case, it indicated no hire. While the candidate possesses valuable experience in project management and business analyst, there's a lack of direct experience in healthcare technologies. And that is key based on this particular job description. So that will give you an example of how a model can be used by creating a custom prompt and asking it to give you or behave in a specific way, optimizing the time that's required to do this assessment manually. Okay, so that is the first model. Let's jump into the second model. So this one is also a custom prompt, and this model is about summarizing text. So this model can summarize text from a meeting minute or from lengthy documents or any kind of input that you provide. In this case, I downloaded a transcript from one of my meetings that I had with the team and one of my customers. And here in meeting summary, let's click on Get Summary, and let's get a nice little summary from the lengthy conversation. So this was a 1-hour meeting that we had. And here you go. So I have a nice little summary of the technical items discussed and defined. So let's look through some of these. There was progress, update on the current week's work, including percentages complete and hours spent. But so here's a summary of the conversation. So good progress, so hand over documentations prepared, multilingual support, database linking for notifications and user interface configurations highlighted. So it's a nice little summary of the conversation. I also have key definitions on things that were discussed and agreed. So things around resiliency pipelines, notifications, event handling, and the user interface feedback as well. At the bottom, I ask the model to give me action items and who is assigned to those action items. So we can see here, Zach is to address the delay in opening links in notifications, Paul to review and test the job state change notifications, and considering adding progress indicators. So you can see that I don't have to do a summary from that conversation. I get it right away. And the last thing I noted is next steps. I want a summary of what we said in the meeting based on the next steps, so that we can take action from there. So getting this nice little summary for the meeting is doing the job for me. I don't have to go back and identify everything that went on in that meeting. All I have to do is just go through this nice little summary and take action from there. So that's saving me already some time. Any questions or comments so far on those first two models? All good? Excellent. Let's jump to the third model. So the third model is about invoice processing. This model is very helpful because as any organization with an invoice processing and templates in place, this optimizes the time that we spend in collecting information from our invoices and doing further reporting on it. So the model identifies an invoice. What we have done here is I have trained this model by giving it only 5 samples of my invoice template. And then I identified in the invoice key information such as my customer's name, organization, address, and then I also included information on the resourcing, the hourly rate, and I trained the model to identify where in the invoice it should look for that information. So you can see all of the different fields and the metadata that I use to train this model. And these numbers here indicate the accuracy of how certain the model is that this is the field that it was trained for. So that's also very helpful. After I trained the model by providing those 5 samples, then I created this very simple app so that it can extract all of the information from the invoices. So you can see here the basic information such as who was the PM, the service type, the customer name, the address. And then at the bottom, I have a summary of the resources that conducted work for this particular billing cycle, the amount, and the hourly rate as well. So what do I do with this information from here? Well, I can report on it. I can create Power BI reports to identify complete invoice numbers on accumulated sum of all of the invoices. I can use it to identify errors in my invoices, maybe discrepancies or finding any duplicated records. So from this point forward, now that I have extracted all of that information and I have it in a database, then I can report on it further. So that's the value of extracting information from structured data such as an invoice. And again, it's very simple to do. All you have to do is just pass those 5 sample invoices, train the model, and based on that, you can start using the model right away. Any questions so far? Questions or comments? Okay, let's move on to the last 2 models. The first one is about sentiment analysis. So this model is useful if you want to assess the sentiment of text. So for instance, if you want to assess the comments that you receive through your social media channels, this is one quick way of doing it. You can also use it in different scenarios. You can assess the overall sentiment of a particular product, or you can use it to assess um, different marketing campaigns and just identifying how users feel about your product, or doing market research to understand customer preferences and industry trends. So there's many different scenarios in which you can use this particular model. And what it does is when you provide a text, so let me provide here an example of positive feedback. So when you provide that text, it gives you an assessment of is it positive, is it negative, or is it neutral. So this is an example of a positive review. Let's click on Analyze and let's understand the analysis. Okay, so it's doing an analysis of every single sentence and it's giving me a confidence score. So it's 99% confident that this text is positive. Then at the bottom is doing an assessment of each sentence. So each of these represent each of the sentences and the overall confidence score for each of those. Now let's go ahead and use a neutral one. So let me grab that text and paste it here. Okay, so in this case, I get a 56% confidence score that this is positive. So it's rating it as positive. Um, it has a combination of positive and neutral feedback. So you can see it identified where it has neutral sentiment and where it has negative and negative sentiment. So based on that assessment, it does an overall and we get the overall confidence score. So this is very helpful if you do receive a lot of information and feedback from your customers, either via email or through your social media channels. This is a quick way of doing that assessment and take action from there. So the things that you can do with this information, well, you can create an alert and alert your manager so that they can act on this feedback as soon as it's received. So as soon as it detects a confidence score, let's say less than 60, then an email is triggered to the account manager so that they can address the customer's feedback. So there's different ways in which you can build on this information. You can also report on it to get an average and understand the overall sentiment of your product or your marketing campaign. So there's different ways in which you can use this particular model. And the last one here, this model is about extracting text from images. So this model is very useful in many different scenarios. So nowadays, we have a lot of customers that do inspections, on-site inspections, and often auditors make handwritten annotations on the technical reports. And oftentimes it's very hard to read those annotations. So we want to have a mechanism to extract those annotations and make them available for future reporting. In this particular case, I am using a blueprint. So this is a technical design. And you can see that the architect made some annotations in terms of some measurements for this particular structure. You can see they're handwritten. And at the bottom here, you can see a very simple app that extracts all of that information. And now you have a way to report on it and make it useful for other people to review and understand better. So this is one example of how you can use the model. Additional examples that I have here. So I did a bit of POC with a traffic citation. So that's another scenario in which an organization might benefit from this. So the traffic citation in this case is all handwritten. So there's the template, but most of the responses are handwritten, and you can see that the model is identifying the different places on the template that's extracting the text from. And at the bottom, you can see all of the details for that particular citation. Another example that I used was for a medical prescription. So another example, you have handwritten annotations here, and here at the bottom, you get that nice little summary of the prescription. So those are some examples so you can see the different areas in which you can use this type of model. And the last one is also using another, so this same type of model, but this one is using a structure type of model. So in this particular case, I will be showing you the model for one of our clients, which is FRPD. And for FRPD, we created a model, which is the FRPD field has a report, and this model was basically an auditing template that auditors use to evaluate the safety of different um, equipment and observational notes on the overall environment and housekeeping of the construction area. So the auditors use a template and they simply mark the things that are satisfied and the ones that are not satisfied. And then at the bottom, they create corrective actions and non-conformance risk rating. So what we did, because it was very challenging for our client to report on that information, we used the template and we trained the model with 5 examples. And based on that, then we received a confidence score from the model. So you can see that the confidence was 94%. So very accurate on reading the data and understanding where it needs to locate the specific markings. And based on that, then the customer was able to use it for additional inspection reports and be able to report on it. So if the compliance falls below a specific threshold, for instance, 50% compliance, then a notification is sent to the auditor so that they can follow up on those corrective actions. And you can see that we created a Power BI report here that identifies even more information on those metrics. So things like the rate of completion, the percentage of completion, and then things that indicate the count of items suspended. So this is in terms of the equipment. So the count of slidings, the kind of crane. So by using this template and extracting all of that information from the different sections, we were able to report even more on that, as well as the rate of completion and then the overall compliance. So that's the way in which we were able to very quickly and efficiently use one of those pre-built models in order to create efficiencies in our customers and improve the overall business process. So that concludes the AI Builder demonstration. Let me know if you have any questions or comments on some of these AI Builder models. Otherwise, I will pass this back to Tamara.
Thanks, everyone. For the sort of last portion of our webinar, John's going to be providing some additional information, but we did want to open up the floor if there's anybody who has questions about Copilot or AI Builder or about any of the information that we've shared today. So please feel free to speak out now, or if not, please feel free to reach out to anybody on the Spot team or John. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, thanks, Tamara. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, it's been very informative. I think it's hopefully you kind of plucked a few pieces out of what we provided today. There's quite a bit to unpack here, and as I mentioned earlier, I think we'll be doing a few more of these to kind of go down different areas because it's a fairly large ecosystem when you use the word Copilot. So hopefully you'll be joining us with more to come. I didn't throw a note in the chat there. If some of you did see. By attending today, well, hopefully you get a chance to fill out a form if you like, and we can do a free 1-hour session with you. We can dig into what it is you want to take a look at, if it is related to Copilot or other areas of the Microsoft ecosystem. So we have some experts and analysts available. So please take advantage of that. Fill out that form, and it'd be great for us to connect and go through any other areas that you want to take a look at. So yeah, I will also be following up, providing access to this recording as well. So you can, if you didn't get a chance to see all of it, we kind of popped in, popped out, or you want to share with your colleagues, you'll get access to that as well. So thanks again. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow, if you want to put a bow on things, yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for attending. Spot Solutions puts on regular webinars. We post them on our website as well as share them on social media. And we try to cover a wide variety of topics within the Microsoft ecosystem as well as emerging technologies and automation. So please feel free to take a look for any of them. We'd love to have you there. And thank you so much for attending our first Copilot webinar. We hope to share so much more of this with you in the future. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everyone.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.